What's up everybody, Zach here with Sew Yeah Quilting. Today I'm going to show you how to make this really easy Christmas stocking. Let's get started. The first step for this is to assemble your template, which is down in the description below. I'm not going to bore you with that process. All you got to do, cut it out according to the instructions, and then as you can see right here, there's these little triangles on each corner of the page. You just line those all up in the center and then line up your lines on the edges, and that gives you your template. Once that's done, you're going to choose your fabric for the outside of your stocking, lay that down and pin your pattern to it, and then just cut out right along the edge, around the edge of the pattern. If you need to make a few cuts around the rounded portions of this, that's not a problem. Get it as clean as you can. When you cut out your fabric, you are obviously going to need a front and a back side to your stocking. So make sure when you cut it out, cut out both pieces. You can just lay them down one on top of each other and do that at the same time. Forgot to mention that at the beginning. So once you have that, go ahead and cut out your lining, which is the exact same thing. Just lay your fabric down, put your template on, and cut it out exactly the same way as the other piece. Once you have the boot portion of the stocking cut out, you need to make the top portion, which you can see right here. To make that, you're going to need 3 pieces of fabric: the cuff, the trim, and then a little piece for the hanger. And the dimensions for all of these are in the pattern. Once you have all your fabric cut out, it is time to cut your batting. So just cut a piece that is a little bit bigger than your stocking and lay your fabric down over the top of your batting and pin it on. Now we're gonna mark some lines on it so we can quilt this thing together. I'm just gonna take my ruler. I'm gonna do just a diamond pattern on this, real simple, back and forth. I'm gonna mark this up. Go. Now I'm going to quilt my pieces together. Once you have that all quilted together, go ahead and trim up your batting around your stockings. Once you have your batting trimmed, go ahead and take your 2 pieces and you're going to lay them down right sides together and get them lined up. That's pretty good. And then pin them together and sew around the edge to complete your outside stocking. Now in sewing this, obviously we're going to be putting stuff in the sock a little bit later, so don't sew across the top. I'm just going to go down the edge, around, and up the other side. Once you have that sewn together, you need to go around the edge, around all the curves, and clip out a few little triangles, and then that way when you turn it right side out, it won't get bunchy in those areas. Now you can see, because of all these little cuts that I made in it, when I turn it right side out, you can see right in there that takes down the bulk and everything just kind of falls in line. Once you have your stocking snipped up, go ahead and turn it right side out. So turn this right side out, get all the edges pushed out nice. Great. Now this portion we can set aside and move on to our lining. For the lining, you're going to do exactly the same thing that you just did for the outside. You're going to take your fabric, lay it down right sides together. Now go ahead and pin it together and sew it up. The next step is to make the top or the cuff of our boot. So I've got my 2 cuff pieces. You can see I've laid them out here and here. And then I have a little trim piece which I'm putting right in the center. And now if you're using directional prints with this, I'm not in this case, but if you were, you would have the directional prints facing up or away from the center piece. That way when you fold this all up, everything's going to be facing the top of your sock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my trim, lay it down right side together with my cuff, and I'm just going to pin that and sew it together. Now you have that sewn together, go ahead and do the exact same thing with the other side. So I'll take my center piece, lay my top right sides together, and then just pin it and sew it. Now you have that sewed together, you're going to press it out and then we'll move on to the next step. Once you have that pressed, take your cuff and you're going to fold it in half, line it up nice, and then you're just going to press it again to give you a nice clean edge right there. Well, you've got your iron out, it's time to make the little loop to hang your stocking from. So I've got my little piece here. All I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it down, fold it in half, give it a nice little finger press, and then I'm going to open it up and fold the edge to the crease in the center that I just made. just like that. Then, same thing to the other side. Probably seen this once or twice. And then lastly, you're going to fold it right over itself to make your strap, and then just press that down. Next, you're going to take your stocking and your lining, and we're going to put them together. So now my lining is right sides together, because that's going to be on the inside. My stocking is right sides out. So I'm going to take my lining, stick it down in my stocking, and get it lined up. Get your toes together, heel, and out we go. And then I'm just going to line up my seams on the lining with the seams on my stocking to where everything just meshes real nice. There we go. Once you got everything lined up, you're going to pin around the edge of your sock. Once you have that pinned together, it's time to add the little hanger to your stocking. All you're going to do, fold that in half, just like that. And now you're going to clip it on to the back of your stocking. You can just put it right over the seam. And now sew around the entire edge. Now that you have your inside and outside sewn together with your loop attached, we're going to set this aside one more time and finish our cuff. So I've got my cuff here that is sewn together with my trim and all steamed and pressed. And now I'm going to just fold it in half, just like that. I'm going to sew right along this edge. Once you have this sewn together, it makes a nice little loop there. You're going to take this and turn it right side out, or finished side out, I guess I should say. So my finished seam is now on the outside. This is really important because you're going to be turning this thing all the way inside out when you put it together, and if you do it wrong, then you'll have a raw edge on the outside of your finished product. So now that I've got this turned right side out, I'm going to take it and stick it down into the sock. There we go. Then very similar to what you just did for the liner and the outside piece, you're going to, there we go, you're going to clip this all together and then sew all the way around the edge one more time to finish it up. If you have a difference between the size of the sock opening and the size of the cuff, what you can do is get it all pinned up, and if you end up with, say, a big difference like that, what you can do is leave a little bit of slack in the bigger one, clip it on, and then just work the rest of the slack around the body of the sock. You can see I'm just kind of working this little pouch right here around, and then that will even it out around the circumference of it, and then when you turn everything right side out, it'll look great. So I've got this all set up. I'm going to sew it together, and then we'll be done. With that sewn on, the last step is to take your cuff, pull it out, and then fold it down over your stocking. There we go. Get everything straightened out. And there's our loop, which means it all worked. And there you have it. So it's actually a pretty simple project as far as three-dimensional things go and having to flip things inside and outside. But it's a really, really great gift idea and something really cool to do for your loved ones for the holidays. If you like this video, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to our channel and sharing these videos with your friends. Special little announcement is we are going to have a shop-wide Christmas fabric sale, 20% off all Christmas fabric with code Christmas. So please check that out at sewyeahquilting.com. My name is Zach, teaching you how to sew like a pro, and we'll see you next week here at Sew Yeah Quilting.